Chainsaw Man, the devil that which all devils fear, and the only being who has the power to truly kill devils. But why does he have this power? Well, I have a theory, one that which delves into the depths of Greek mythology to resurrect a being once forgotten, the first primordial entity, KHAOS. KHAOS was the original formless void and orderless state preceding the creation of the multiverse and the cosmos. The void itself became the primordial entity that rules over the void and the abyss, becoming the progenitor of the primordials. KHAOS had birthed many primordial deities who would later rule specific concepts of creation, the most well-known being Tartarus, ruler of the abyss, Eros, the ruler of love, Erebus, the ruler of darkness, Nyx, the ruler of night, and Gaia, Mother Earth. Erebus, the deity of darkness, has many similarities to the darkness devil we saw back in chapter 64, but we'll save that for another video. To understand what I'm about to tell you, we first need to dive into the core elements of Chainsaw Man, which are the devils, and where their power comes from. Luckily for us, Fujimoto was charitably enough to somewhat explain his power system earlier on in the manga, somewhat being the key word there. It's explained by Makima that all devils are born with a name. The more that name is feared, the more powerful the devil itself. She further went on to explain that coffee has no scary mental imagery whatsoever. If there was a coffee devil, it would probably be weak. But what if there was a car devil? That would actually conjure up the mental imagery of getting run over and dying, so that might be strong. What this means is that a devil doesn't just merely draw strength from what an object was created to do or from surface level appearances. It mainly draws strength from what people perceive that object of being capable of doing, or what the end result of being affected by that object in a negative way would be. The car example does a great job of explaining this. The car devil isn't strong because people fear getting hit by a car. It's strong because a car triggers the mental image of dying by being run over by a car, which means it also triggers your fear of death. Death being one of the first primordial entities means its concept is very powerful. So what this means is that a devil is as strong as what the concept they represent is able to conjure up in your mind. Chainsaw Man is the same as the car devil. His imagery conjures up the fear of dying because his purpose in hell seems to have been to indiscriminately kill devils. So devils associate him with death. He's the devil all devils fear. His imagery also conjures up the fear of nothingness or non-existence because he also has the power to truly kill a devil by erasing their existence. So Chainsaw Man's power truly comes from the fear of devils rather than the fear of humans. But for some reason, the love humans gain for Chainsaw Man somehow countered the fear devils had for him, thus making him weaker. But why is that? Well, let's say Chainsaw Man is indeed the avatar of the primordial entity, KHAOS, the first primordial who also represents the void, nothingness, and creation in Greek mythology. What would be his power source? What would people fear? Well, you could say people fear nothingness after death or non-existence to a certain extent, and that would in turn make the KHAOS entity stronger. This lines up because the KHAOS entity has the ability of existence erasure in Greek mythology. In fact, it's the only primordial with the ability to truly kill other primordials by erasing their existence. Similar to how Chainsaw Man is the only entity capable of truly killing a devil through existence erasure. KHAOS, the primordial entity from Greek mythology, can wipe out absolutely anything and everything regardless of immunity, be it existence as a whole all the way down to the very minute details of their targets, such as powers, life, death, space, time, definitions, concepts, memories, and possibilities. Similar to how Chainsaw Man is able to erase people, places, concepts, memories, and even possibilities as he did with the 4 possible conclusions other than death at the end of the life cycle for living beings. This concept of creation and end is even represented by the design of the character itself. He has a chainsaw for his head, with an intestine-like object stemming from his navel area wrapped around his neck. But what exactly does that represent? Well, chainsaws were initially created to aid in the process of childbirth, but were later used to cut down trees or even to commit murder, which could be seen as an allegory for creation and death. And not only that, the intestine-like object stemming from Chainsaw Man's navel area could be seen as the umbilical cord that attaches a child to their mother from their navel area, which again represents the concept of life, but it also represents the concept of death, in that the umbilical cord is wrapped around his neck, which is what causes up to 30% of stillbirths, meaning the babies die. The dog aspect of Chainsaw Man and Pochita is also closely tied to chainsaws as well, in that it was directly taken from an object actually called a chainsaw dog. They are usually metal spikes mounted on a chainsaw near the guide bar, designed to stabilize and support the chainsaw during felling and bucking. All of this is basically what makes up the physical appearance of Chainsaw Man himself. So you could say the Chaos entity chose to manifest itself in a way that would represent it being both the void that spawned the existence of all other entities, and that which also has the ability to truly erase them. Like the Darkness Devil isn't the bone or skeletal devil, but that's what it chose to manifest itself as. In fact, the true form of the Darkness Devil is the spat of darkness we saw fall from the sky. Even the four horsemen are just girls with pretty eyes. What this means is that some devils or entities don't always manifest as what their concept or name would suggest. They likely have the ability to mold a form they so choose, similar to how Chainsaw Man changed into Pochita to hide his presence. But with that being said, how did regular humans weaken this entity by showing appreciation or love? Well, it could be as cliche as love conquering fear, which seems to be a theme in this manga. Love is how Denji was able to finally kill Makima, and love is what will stop Nayuta from becoming Makima. These two concepts seems to run counter to one another. The love people started to have for Chainsaw Man when he defeated the Gun Devil and inadvertently saved lives by eradicating other devils started to overpower the fear other devils had for him, which could mean that the concept of love is just stronger than the concept of fear. Or you could say that there were more humans who loved Chainsaw Man rather than the devils who feared him. Either way, it seems that love conquers fear. It could also be that Fujimoto didn't just copy and paste Greek mythology. He likely depowered these characters and made a few changes to make for a better or more balanced story, as authors normally do. So in this interpretation, the Primordials aren't the strongest just because they were here first. They are the strongest due to the fear they were able to generate all this time, and the fear they still generate today. The Primordial Chaos is an interesting one, since I do believe it was weakened by religion, in a sense that people eventually learned or created concepts or possibilities that ran counter to the prospect of them not existing after death. People found solace in that. Some believed in the concept of heaven and paradise, while others believed in reincarnation. So instead of one possibility existing after death, you now have three or even more. And since the Chaos entity gets its strength from the fear of non-existence and nothingness, it got weaker since other possibilities now existed. I believe that this is why Chainsaw Man eventually erased the other four possible conclusions at the end of a living being's lifespan, as stated by Makima. I believe this was done so that non-existence would be the only possibility after death, thus making him stronger. Of course, he then had to fight the four horsemen, one being the actual primordial entity, death itself, and the weapons devils who severely weakened him, which is why he's not as strong as he used to be, as pointed out by the Eternity Devil. There has also been multiple hints of Chainsaw Man being the Chaos entity throughout the manga's run, in that he's the perfect opposite to Makima, who is the Control Devil. Makima also seems to be fascinated with the chaotic nature of Chainsaw Man. She's drawn to him because they are polar opposites. She's even outright disgusted at Denji's behavior and mannerisms as Chainsaw Man. Him wearing clothing, him merely speaking, and even doing something degrading as to spit in her face is unbecoming of Chainsaw Man himself. She even outright says that every action Chainsaw Man takes should be chaotic, which isn't the first time she alluded to the chaotic nature of Chainsaw Man. When explaining her interest in him, she said that some, referring to the devils, reacts to his chaotic exploits with anger, while others run and try to escape, and still others worship him. And during his chaotic exploits, he kills those who calls for help as swiftly as those who are his targets. He's indiscriminate and chaotic. This somewhat lines up with the characteristics of the primordial entity, KHAOS. KHAOS is described as a normally amoral, neutral, and impersonal entity. KHAOS is incredibly stoic and almost emotionless. He seems unperturbed and has an indifferent attitude towards the death of other beings, with few emotions being able to express, which are often perceived as a yawning void, as KHAOS's emotions are as abstract as himself. However, when manifested with an avatar, be it an image avatar or an avatar being, KHAOS is capable of showing some emotions or even feelings, even if minimally. Now, of course, this could be a big coincidence and I'm just reading into it too much, but I do think it lines up perfectly with a few tweaks here and there. And of course, I'm referring to the overall theory itself. Now, of course, I could be wrong and Chainsaw Man is just a chainsaw devil and he gained his power from people fearing actual chainsaws. You know, maybe in the world of Chainsaw Man, people actually really fear chainsaws. You know, it's not really a reflection of the real world, where we could have used like actual real statistics to say that, okay, cool, people don't fear chainsaws that much, so it doesn't make sense for him to be a chainsaw devil and be this strong. Now, of course, you could ignore all of this and say that it doesn't really matter, because you could actually argue Chainsaw Man being as strong as he is even without tying him to this great powerful entity such as KHAOS. The only problem you'll run into is, how does he have the ability to erase people from existence permanently? Why does a chainsaw devil get this ability? And as we've seen with other characters throughout the series, they normally have powers that are more in line with their devils. You know, they can do things that make sense in the aspect of what their devils represent in some cases or most cases, right? In Chainsaw Man's case, him just magically having the ability to erase people from existence, erase concepts, possibilities, like that just seems overpowered for just a regular chainsaw devil. It just doesn't make sense to me personally. Now, whether or not you think Chainsaw Man is the representation of the KHAOS entity, the KHAOS primordial, or whether you think he's the representation of the erasure devil or the extinction devil or whatever you want to call it, it all falls under one being in Greek mythology, and that would be KHAOS. So I do think that while the devils themselves are spawned from the fear of humans, I do believe that the entities themselves, they exist outside the concept of fear. So I do believe that darkness itself didn't just spawn because people feared darkness, right? I do believe that the darkness entity was an entity by itself and people gave it strength and power by fearing it. So that's what I also believe for Chainsaw Man and KHAOS. You know, I think it operates in a very similar way. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section above. I do think we need to wrap this up. I don't think we need to go on any further. Let me know if you like the video down below. You know, check out my recent videos on Chainsaw Man. I also do like pretty cool chapter reviews, and I'm planning on doing more theory videos as well, and also power scaling videos, which I think will be pretty cool. So let me know what you guys think about this video personally in the comment section. Drop a like if you like the video and subscribe for more content just like this one. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.